Yeah, today's been an interesting day. I guess what he wants me to talk about tonight is commitment. You know, if I was a betting man, I would bet that there's not a single person on this planet that wouldn't really like to have a partner that was fully committed. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what that would look like? A love so strong that every communication with that other person, each person had equal value in every word spoken. There was no one trying to clamor to be in control of the relationship, but they were working together as one. You know, that's what God the Father and God the Son have. A lot of people are arguing about that over online, you know, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit, because they don't understand it. Because as humans, there's not a single one or two of us that can get on that same wavelength. Yeah, we get married and we're supposed to become as one, and there's times when my wife and I will be driving down the road and be thinking the same thing, and one of us will start talking and I was just thinking about that. So I mean, it is possible to get on the same wavelength. But see, with love, with the kind of love that God the Father and God the Son have, and the Holy Spirit, the kind of love that they operate within, they all agree on everything. They are in unison. They're in... If they were triplets walking down the road, they'd all be in step with each other. They'd all be singing the same song. That'd be incredible. You know, we seek that in our own relationships. Why is it that we don't try and offer that type of relationship to God? You know, Jesus knew. He knows our hearts. He knows our minds. He lived here on this earth, and he knows our struggles. But he came, that's why he came. He came to show us what love is. Imagine imagine offering your son as a sacrifice to an entire world of beings that had an incredible propensity to only think of themselves. You know, we need to start giving our commitment in all our relationships. We need to put other people first in everything we do. And as far as the commandments go, Jesus said if you love him, you'll show it by keeping them. Unfortunately, people down here on this planet, they want to argue. They want to argue over what commandments those are. Jesus was one step ahead of them. He says, this last commandment I leave unto you, that you love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and your neighbor as yourself. Because he knew if you were able to achieve that, the least you could do is not have any other gods before him. The least you could do is not make any graven images. The very least you could do is worship him on his day. The very least you could do is not take your neighbor's life from him, or steal from him, or take his wife from him. The very least you could do is not talk about him behind his back and bear false witness against him. 10 Commandments are just basically the least you can do to show your love for God and your fellow man. For those of you that say we don't need the law, you're throwing out thousands of texts that talk about obedience, talk about what happens when you live in iniquity, that talk about turning your ear from the law, that even your prayer will be an abomination. But you want to cling on to those few texts that you're taking out of context and say you don't have to do anything, you don't have to obey. But you can't nail the character of the Father to the cross with his Son. You can't do it. God will not be mocked. And in that day, he will say unto you, I'm sorry, but I never knew you. Get away from me, you workers of iniquity. You're going to be screaming your heads off. But man, we cast out devils in your name. We did all these wonderful things. You know, when you serve the devil, who is all about selfishness and pride, he can work miracles for you to keep you deceived in your ways. Think about it. Get in your word. Pray about it. Let God lead you. There's still time. There's not much left, but there's still time. May God be with you in your search.